Hi everyone, welcome back to Through Alchemy. So today's reading is going to be titled as Crown Chakra. We're going to be getting messages for chakra balancing through tarot cards as well as an intuitive drawing. For today's reading, we have two piles from the left to right. The first pile is Dendritic Agate. The second pile is Rainbow Moonstone. Pause if you need a little bit longer. Pick the one which calls your name the most, and I'm going to begin with pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose this Dendritic Agate, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to see your first card, which is the Solar Eclipse Revolution. Number 44 reduces to 8. In the tarot card, this energy would be represented by the Two of Wands. I feel like the usual interpretation of an eclipse is almost like when the moon blocks the sun, right? And it's almost like a blackout, like we can't really see things. So I think that your crown chakra is I'm getting the word polluted right now, and it's a lot because of subconscious fears and patterns. I think that you undermine your own ability to reconnect with your soul, and it's really interesting that I said the word reconnect. So this is something that is quite ongoing with you. It's almost like you have discovered how to access your crown chakra, how to gain more wisdom through your crown chakra. And I feel like something about it gets blocked when you start doubting your own ability as a spiritual being, is what I feel. So before I skip ahead, I'm going to be using this piece of black paper to undermine the energies, whatever comes through for me. With this, I'm already feeling like the red. So I would suggest you to focus on the colors that I'm choosing so you know which chakra message comes up and is more relevant for you. I'm honestly just freestyling it, so let's see what comes up. All right, so this is what we have. I'm just gonna clear off the chalk dust. All right, so pile number one, this is what I have for you. I feel like it's really interesting how Spirit sort of told me to use a very rectangular piece of paper. This is an A4 size sheet, which was um, turned practically into a strip. And I feel like this talks a lot about, I'm hearing the word conjunction. So it's almost like I can feel the pressure that I used when it came to the blue color, which is the throat chakra, and the red. It's almost like when I was going around with the blue color, the red wanted to overpower it. So something about your true authentic nature tries to take over, and I think that you're pretty well balanced. Okay, I think that sometimes there is this, I'm hearing the word diffuse, so it's almost like you try to diffuse your spiritual nature because it's pretty intense. Okay, I feel like your energy is pretty nervous. Okay, I feel like there's this newbie kind of an energy, and I don't feel that it means exactly that you're not spiritual. I just feel like as a person you're actually just discovering what it truly means to be spiritual. And I feel like there are a lot of distracting elements that you probably use, or I'm hearing that come in between with connecting with yourself, because um I feel like the green color is really calling me right now, which is pretty less compared to all the colors over here, which really talks about your connection with your own spirit, your connection with your own heart. So even though you're quite balanced, I feel like there's somewhere where you require to focus more upon what your heart says, because as psychic as you are, I'm getting mediumship. As psychic as you are, I think that you often get a lot of enticement from the negative forces, and it's very easy for you to just um metaphorically have a blackout, right? That we have over here with the solar eclipse. It's like it's very easy to confuse you and fog your ability, and the way that you will be able to see your way out is almost like reconnecting with your heart sphere, so that you can actually listen to what is the truth, not what illusions are being presented in front of you. I feel like these dots that we have along the line, and you can see that there's only blue, purple, and red over here. So this is the crown chakra, the throat chakra, and the root chakra. I feel like your root chakra is being actively purged right now. I feel like this energy of the void that we have over here is very interesting. That yet again, I chose a black paper for this reading, and I feel like it really just binds everything over here, which just tells me that, and you can see how the root chakra is sort of encompassing the void over here, and it's outlined by blue. Comparatively, very less use of the purple color, which is your crown chakra. So I think that you are healing something that is really coming from your childhood, that is sort of like really undermines or yeah, it diffuses your ability to connect with your own soul. So I think that the work that you're doing right now is really helping you sort of expand your crown chakra, because the energy of the crown chakra flows in and it sort of encompasses, and it's stopped by the root chakra dots over here, along with the heart chakra and the solar plexus. So I would say that you are regaining confidence, and it's because the more that you're discovering your authentic nature, and I by authentic, it does not mean a cliche sense. It means who you really are, with that rawness, with the good part and the bad part included. Because if you look at this, there's a circular motion over here where there's sort of like, I'm getting fireworks. When I drew this, I sort of felt like something just going in all sides. And over here, there's the same sort of, I would say, the diameter that we have over here is also pretty similar, so that we can have another circle. So something about it also gives me yin and yang energies, and I feel like this comparatively is your feminine energy that is trying to flourish in this, because I feel like over here we have a more of a masculine energy is what I'm seeing. And right now what your root chakra is trying to heal itself over here, and I'm seeing the serpent now. So definitely you are going through a phase of this peeling of the mask. Like it's almost like places where especially you couldn't be vulnerable because there's this void within you, to be honest. And I'm afraid if that's hurtful, because it's the truth. It's something within you that tries to fulfill itself by going out there, by, with the solar eclipse, tries to, maybe you have substance abuse issues, maybe you have codependencies to other people, maybe you expect other people to fill up this void that you feel within, which stems from your childhood, because the root chakra is over here. And something about your childhood was very constructive. It was like your parents or your guardians were like very on point about how to really live your life. I'm sorry if you hear any noises in the background. My dog is also here. So, um, I think that it's a lot about, when I talk about dogs as well, it's a lot about unconditional love, like, right? It's a lot about the fact that you were not given that unconditional love to be yourself exactly how you want to be. And I think that there was a part of you that sort of abandoned itself. Like, you always felt like an outsider with your own self. You almost, like, if you would look at somebody that is truly authentic, it might make you a little bit envious. Okay, every message might not resonate, but there was a streak of feeling like this might not happen for me. But what right now life is teaching you is how to really heal this void within, um which comparatively I feel like, now that I look at it with just the blue color, it's like waves. And I think that you're purging a lot right now. So I think that your crown chakra over here is majorly affected by your root chakra, your ability to actually listen to yourself, right? Because when somebody in your childhood probably convinced you that how you want to be is not right and you should be someone else, or almost like when your instincts come alive, I feel like with the throat chakra, with the dots over here, and with the crown chakra, this part over here is very flowing. It's gushing in, and the root chakra energy is encompassing the heart sphere and the solar plexus. So what is there to recognize is more of a fact that the information comes through, but you don't accept it because you doubt yourself, because you sort of still have that conditioning whether what's right or wrong, and you still have a little bit of disbelief within your own self as to what are your true abilities. We're going to get tarot cards now. Pile number 1. All right. Bottom of the deck, I'm seeing sexual freedom. So this is sacral chakra energy. This is a lot about your own sovereignty, I would say. It's a lot about how do you really feel about yourself internally. What's the truth? How do you really feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're somebody to be respected when you say something? Do you feel like you can take charge in life regardless of how many oppositions you get in life towards those things? Okay, worthiness and intimacy. It's almost like, it's not a cliche meaning. See, I spoke about how do you really feel about yourself, and if you look a little closer, um, there is a reflection over here, and I can't help but notice that the heart she has over here is orange in color, and something about this symbol over here looks like an angel crystal to me, with the lotuses all over here and the scenery background. I feel like she has a lot of orange and yellow over here, despite the greens that I still see over here. I think that this is a lot about how do you really perceive yourself, And I feel like the more that I'm channeling this energy, and like my dog is creating so much background noise, it's kind of like making me a little bit frustrated. And I think that's your energy, because it's almost like you require silence, and more than it's required at times. Like you would sort of like he's right next to me now, and it's almost like the information comes to you, but you just discard it. Sometimes you're just like, no, I don't want to listen to it, because some things really show you how you feel about yourself. It's almost like your higher self comes through and lets you know about how you're feeling about yourself. With the sexual freedom card, I think that this is literally just about you and your yin and yang energy. Even in the picture that I just drew, I feel like you have this place which, the void that we saw. It really tells you that you're not worthy. Something inside you is still very self-depreciating, and I think that the more that you entertain the voice that is actually good for you, it makes you feel about how disconnected you have been with life, right? And I think that you don't like that. You don't like the self-realization or the actualization that I have been the one holding myself back. Whereas I think that this just comes from a place of not being able to forgive yourself, your past self, because your throat chakra is trying to really expand, or it is pretty expansive. You can really deliver yourself through words, but what really stops you, it's almost like, getting tongue tied. You know how you feel, but you're not able to say it, even though it's on the tip of your tongue. It's because you feel like these emotions are icky. I feel like you might have a person in mind, because we have the soulmate and the commitment underneath this, and then we also have a spiritual maturity. um wow, we have resolving conflict as well. So I think that one of the things that really blocks you, I'm getting to take this card, commitment, is also your lack of commitment to self. Like this intimacy, you know that this is an issue with you, and I don't mean to make it like an issue, but it is something that really blocks you from actually feeling things, right? Because even in the drawing that I have over here, we have this energy of the heart chakra trying to expand, but there's a lot of, I would say, with the yellow, I feel like there's pride that still stops you, because you don't want other people to see how this place exists. You don't want other people to see how there is still a place within you which doesn't feel good about self, and you don't want people to judge you for that. So I think somewhere in your childhood you were made felt embarrassed for how you are, how clumsy or something I'm getting, how much of a kid you were basically, and you were asked, or you were put on a pedestal by, I'm getting a lot of narcissistic abuse. Somebody, either of your parents were very sort of like perfectionists. So your worthiness literally comes from just showing this place of life, which is like, I'm totally well put together, I know what I'm doing, and I don't have this part in me, which is the void that I still feel inside me. Where I spoke about the tongue twisted energy, right? The words do come up, but when it's time to release them, do you see how the blue has gotten lost over here? Because the fear takes over with the root chakra. So I feel like you get really frustrated with the fears or this mental barrier that you have within, because it was so distracting to have my dog over here when I was channeling, and I just had to kick him out. I feel like I was just like, get out, like, just get out, because you're distracting me from what I need to do. I think that this is an energy which is almost like you disqualifying the emotions that exist within you. It's almost like, I have to keep a front, I have to keep a front. I just don't want to listen to all of these icky emotions. I don't want to see what's inside, what lies inside me. I don't want to see how I still feel like nobody really cares about me. And I think that these are emotions from your inner child, because you can't ignore the fact the amount of reds that we have is encompassing. So if there's something that specifically calls out your eye, specifically a color over here, it's your internal compass telling you which chakra to focus upon. Those feelings are coming up now from your childhood, where you were made felt like your emotions are not worth exploring. And something about it was almost like taking uh putting a band-aid on it. The distraction in your reading is so much, like I can't focus upon just the crown chakra because there's a lot that goes on. And I feel like this does not take away from the fact that you might be a balanced person in reality. You're very good at doing your daily chores, but I think that the internal compass requires more energy than the day to day life, because you might be a workaholic. You might be more fixated upon your pentacles and your material security rather than your emotional stability, because this part of that void can also be filled with how much have I achieved in my life, because it's almost like you're getting your worth through all the fame and love that you receive from other people. So this energy literally just pushes out everything that you would truly feel from inside. I feel like spirit is giving me this understanding that when you get those insights, you completely take them out. When you get that courage or that knowledge that this is not right, or what I'm doing is not good for me, or I'm neglecting a part of me, you put it out, you abandon yourself. And this comes from your childhood. Because it's almost like spirit is giving me that feeling that I just had when I had to sort of send my dog away because he was making so much noise. And it's like the voice kept on coming from my back when I'm trying to work here with you, right? And I feel like I just suddenly just went like, please go out, like you're creating too much distraction for me. So your energy is something that you don't appreciate when it comes from your crown chakra. It's something that comes through, and then you just sort of disbar it from giving it sort of a good food for thought that maybe this energy keeps coming up because something really needs to be heard from within. And this is that energy of having sort of like coping mechanisms that don't really help you anymore. I think that you're doing things that you maybe used to do as a teenager or something. There's something that you're going back to, something to make yourself feel good with the inner child energy. But I feel like it's almost coming as a band-aid. You need to let those emotions come up. You need to let those emotions from your childhood come up, resurface, so that they can be released for once and for all. I think that your body succumbs. It goes back to that phase when you felt helpless and you don't like that feeling, but you have to realize that that is not the reality of today. You know, this eclipse card, I spoke in the beginning that this is when the moon comes in front and it makes you feel like a blackout. So whenever those energies come back, it makes you feel like a poor little girl or boy, right? It makes you feel smaller than you are right now. And that is because you keep suppressing that emotion or feeling you felt when you were probably 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, or even when you were 17. That feeling comes up so that you can release it, and it doesn't sort of hold you back, but it's like you keep pushing it down because you don't want to face it once and for all, because you start associating with that as your reality. But you have to realize that that is a part of your trauma, it's not your reality. It will not take you back to that phase. So I think that even when it tries to take you, because certain things happen and they take us back to that moment, right? And we don't like to be there. So you have to understand that those emotions need to be released so that you can actually let go of it, and so that this shadow or this void does not have to stay empty. You can fulfill it with happiness. You can actually start embracing yourself again, right? With the blue corners, I feel I just get a lot of emotions. You are a very sensitive person, you feel really deeply, but you're robbing yourself of this gift that you have of feeling deeply. Every person has their own unique gifts, but I feel like pile number one for you, it is your sensitivity that you refuse to acknowledge. I think that somebody in your childhood really made you feel like being emotional is like being, I'm getting really derogatory slang words, but it's almost like it just feels like you're being a wuss, like you're crying, so you're being very weak. That is not true. You need to at least accept yourself for who you are and change this perception that just because you're wanting to cry, you're weak. That is really self-depreciating to you, because not only that thought process is very self-critical, but it doesn't allow you to feel anything. So who is this sort of that thought pattern really robbing things off? It's just you, because whoever that person taught you probably is doing their own thing, and god knows what they're doing in their life, where they're at. But how it's impacting you right now in the moment is that they left an imprint on your mark that you're not letting yourself remove it, and it affects you in all areas of your life, especially your divine potential, because this potential is growing, is what I'm saying, like a budding sprout. This potential wants to come out, it wants to start making itself known, but whenever it does, you shut it out. You're like literally like, get out, I don't want to hear this, it's too much for me. So it it takes you back to a place of feeling like a little helpless boy or a girl. But it's important for you to understand the dichotomy of the scenario, that you need to feel that helpless so that it can come out, so that you don't keep referencing yourself like that. I think that you face difficulties with feeling inadequate because there was this person in your childhood that constantly made you feel like you're not doing anything right. And this is something that the same way you treat yourself, you learned how to treat yourself like that, right? You were too naive, you should have been taught how to treat yourself better, but things happened, right? And now if you don't let yourself cry, I feel a very heavy emphasis on crying and purging. If you don't give yourself that space, honestly nobody else is going to come and give that to you. You have to accept yourself, all parts of yourself. If you, even if you feel like there is no void within you, even if you feel like there's no hollowness that you're trying to fill with other things, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? It still exists within you, and it's wanting to be seen and heard. When it comes up in feelings of anxiety and that feeling of helplessness when you were a child, it just wants to be seen. It wants to be seen by you, and you rightfully deserve to do that for yourself. Pile number one, you should be able to accept yourself with all parts of yourself without being judgmental towards yourself. I'm hearing this quote which says, turns out you carry yourself everywhere you go. So not seeing this part of you will not remove it. It will not dissipate itself. You have to see it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to give the bad parts more love than just the good parts. Your bad parts are also parts of you. And just not looking at them will not mean that they don't exist. They want to be seen. They want to be accepted. And why you're not accepting this part of you is also the reason why it stops you from committing to another person, from letting them see the bad parts within you, because you're scared that when they see those bad parts of you, they're going to treat you like the same parental figure in your past, and they're going to uphold you to these insane amount of expectations that you won't be able to fulfill. And that's not true. You will be able to fulfill, but what you feel is rightfully to be fulfilled by you, not somebody else's expectations of what they want to see in you. You will be unapologetically yourself. But first, for somebody to accept you, you have to accept yourself. And once you accept yourself, you will also be able to accept that person. So you have to really take a roundabout and really see and understand this concept that it ends and begins with you. Why you're not able to accept somebody in your life closely and be vulnerable with them is because you're not able to accept yourself. How can you give somebody the love that you don't give yourself? It's very normal, and we all hear it, that people only meet you to the depths that they've met themselves. So this energy of constantly trying to push away the reflection that you see in the mirror, whether it's good or bad, is still a part of you, and you have to inculcate it in your personality and not be scared of it, first and foremost by your own self, to recognize it, because it's there and it simply really wants to be seen by you. We have the cards, the Sacred Woman. So now this is a card which usually talks about somebody who almost like respects herself but is very resourceful. So the more that you neglect this part of you which is related to worthiness, it's almost like your crown chakra can't deliver you with the efficiency that you already have as a soul. So on a soulful level, something really is stopping you. And now I'm just slapping my words. So I think that this is a lot of your energy, which is a lot of your energy which is like jumping to the end game. Like, you want to get to a transformed phase in your life without doing the work. It's almost like you, pile number one, you do have some escapism tendencies. It's getting really difficult for me to speak now. That you know that you do. I do not have to explain you what you do. You know what you do. You try to avoid commitment, whether it's to self or to another person. I feel like this is also another person. And it's simply because you don't feel worthy of this person. You have also placed this person on a pedestal, and you're not only doing wrong to this person but yourself, because the moment we place somebody on a pedestal, we just declare that they can do no wrong. So when this person shows you ugly parts of themselves, it's like you're just taken aback, like, damn, like, who are you? I don't know. And it probably is a turn off for you, which was kind of self-imposed, because I hate to break it to you, because you're still dealing with a human being who's going to have their own fears, their own anxieties, their own insecurities. And the reason why you're not able to accept that and you see it as a turn off or something that you don't want to deal with is because you're not available to yourself. So placing somebody on a pedestal is never a good idea, because that person is willingly showing you what their faults are, and that is the epitome of unconditional love, that I accept you regardless of your bad parts. I don't just love you for the beauty that you exude. I love you for your strength. I love you for the tears that you're showing me. I love you for the vulnerability that you're showing me. I love you for showing me beyond your mask, because it's so difficult to express things that, are deep inside us, and we don't feel safe in sharing them with other people. So I think somebody has been trying to develop a deeper bond with you, or that's something that you're requiring, you're wanting to explore in your life. But you have to understand that you cannot accept somebody else unless and until you accept yourself. You have to find the courage to accept yourself and not put yourself on this pedestal and have unrealistic expectations of who you are and what you will become, without actually looking within and what needs help in the moment. Because what actually needs help right now is this part of you which feels sort of like I shouldn't be respected enough, or sort of like I knew that this would happen because I'm not such a great match, or sort of like I know so these are all patterns that come from your childhood, where you were made felt like you're not good enough. It's nobody else making you feel like you're not good enough. It's you. It's something that is sort of like a tape recorder. It keeps playing in your brain when you do something that wasn't exactly as planned. And maybe things don't go exactly as planned, is what I'm hearing. And then you put all the burden of pressure on yourself. And it's almost like it triggers a part of you when you were a child and you were told that you just can't do one thing right. So it's not only to recognize that you're trying your best, but you also have a self-sabotaging tendency, which again, I just feel like it really comes down to your root chakra, which will help you balance out and receive more messages from your crown chakra. Because even though your higher self really wants to deliver you the truth, it's like you don't want to face it. And nothing that I would say can change that unless and until you decide to face it, right? um it's probably going to be really uncomfortable to hear that, but um I think that you might also try to you have a tendency of self-fulfilling prophecies. Like, you're probably gonna have a few, I don't know, for somebody over here, I'm hearing that you're probably gonna try to deny what I'm telling you, even if you know it's truth, because your ego doesn't want to hear that. And later on, after a few weeks, it's really gonna simmer down that you do have a tendency of coping up with these emotions and feeling like nobody understands you. But there's a part of you that just doesn't want to come out of this place of facing itself, because the issue is not that you don't want to get close to someone. The issue is that you are yourself scared to see those parts within you. You're scared of acknowledging them, those skeletons in the closet, which are waiting for you to sort of just accept them as well, because they're a part of you. Your good parts and your bad parts both want to be accepted by you, because they're parts of you. Lastly, we have the garden. So I think you have been trying to manifest something in your life. Maybe it's abundance, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's more spiritual prosperity, maybe you're trying to be more content. But I think that you're just trying to jump to the end game. You're trying to get things done without doing the work. And you have to realize, even though you're working in your material world, things might not be showing up as quicker, or you're expecting or planting seeds for it, is because you're not doing the internal work. You need to match the vibration at which your manifestation sort of lives at, right? I think that you really need to start voicing your opinion and stop being scared to show people the real you, because the more tongue tied I'm getting, I almost realize that it all comes down to this fear of vulnerability that you have, because in your childhood you were not appreciated for who you were. Honestly, something about this really needs to change. Pile number one, you need to let people see you for who you are, especially if you have a soulmate, if you have a divine counterpart. This is something that this person is trying to make you feel comfortable towards. And I think that you really need to hear that this person is not there to hurt you. This is a mirror soul. This is somebody who's reflecting back the same fears. And I think that when you judge this person for being human, when they make mistakes, when they get fearful, when they get anxiety, when they panic, you kind of maybe do look down upon this person, because you were made felt like these emotions should not be embraced in your childhood. You weren't allowed to be yourself. So when this person is being themselves, it kind of really puts you off, because you yourself don't accept that part of you. This doesn't have to always be a romantic partner, but there's somebody definitely either coming through or already is, that is trying to teach you the importance of vulnerability and transparency in relationships. Because I think that the more that you try to hide these parts of yourself, they make you manipulative. Because I think that you also have feelings for this person, or you do care, but just because you don't want to show them how you really feel, you have a way with words, which is honestly not right. Because it you don't realize that at the other spectrum, I think that the person gets mind fucked, right? I think that this is also something that you could have experienced, whether you do this with other people or not. um I think this message is interchangeable. It could talk about somebody that you're dealing with that does this behavior, but take however that fits with you. Yeah, I think Spirit is really concluding this reading on the note that this person is reflecting your own fear of vulnerability. And basically, it is not to criticize you, but to really bring this to light, what you've been avoiding, that it's just because you're scared to face those darker aspects of yourself. So, we're gonna get a few advice cards for you and see what comes up. I'm gonna take cards upright or reverse as I'm guided to. I've put that in the description box as a disclaimer so that I can understand the underlying energies. Alright, we're taking the Ace of Wands in reverse, Aries, Sagittarius, the Seven of Swords in reverse, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, the Hermit, Virgo, and Eight of Pentacles in reverse, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Four of Cups. This is sort of like the rejection card with the Lovers. Definitely, I think that you have somebody over here that is a romantic interest, or it just could be a learning experience for you. I see that over here with especially these Seven of Swords in reverse. You don't want to be manipulative, or this person doesn't want to be manipulative, but they're mirroring this energy back to you, which is a lot about not wanting to put in the work to sort of reignite yourself. Because the more that you don't look at these parts of yourself, the more that they pull you. It's like a draining force within you, which, it's almost like you're trying to go to the water level above, you're trying to catch your breath, but there's a huge anchor that's constantly pulling you down. And I think that you're trying to get to, this transform phase in your life where you have abundance in your life. I think that your focus is heavily upon material gains, and I kind of respect that. I wouldn't badmouth it, but I think that really takes away your focus, because internally something tells you that if you don't have these accomplishments to show people, people are not going to believe that you are something. So it's sort of like seeking validation from outside. And I think that you already are aware of this, or it's been guided to you to let you know that you need to think a little bit more about this, and you need to let the information come through, because it's coming through. It's still coming through, no matter how thick the trauma is. It's still coming through. That's how powerful your psychic abilities are. They're wanting to reignite you from within. They don't want you to be playing or self-sabotaging yourself, or playing mind games, or receive mind games or something. They just want you to take the moment. It's almost like they just give you a scenario. You're trying to go above the water level, trying to catch a breath of air, and there's this anchor that's pulling you down. And the moment that spirit asks you to just sit in that water, the depth of water, and just let those emotions float, it's like you start panicking, because it's like, what if something happens to me? What if I get too in a bad shape? Like, you start getting fearful that I'm not going to get another breath of air, and you're just wanting to just escape from that feeling. But what's actually stopping you is that you need to stay in that moment, so that you can figure out how to cut that anchor loose. You need to cut that loose, so that you can finally stay afloat in water, and you don't have to be worried about small breaths of fresh air, and you have like the whole sky of oxygen. In a way, you have everything you need. So it's something that really holds you back from your childhood, that's wanting to come out, so that it can just release itself for once and for all, and so that you can move towards a happier life. I think that you try to cope up with it, with the metaphor that I use, small breaths of air. You get a little bit of release, but it's not enough to actually make you a higher vibrational being. All right, so I'm pretty much done with your reading. Pile number one, I'm going to leave it here. I really do hope that you found a message that was helpful. If you did, please do hit the like button, subscribe for more with the bell icon, so you know whenever I upload next. Let me know down in the comment section how that resonated, and I'm going to see you guys in another one. Bye. Hello, pile number two. If you chose this beautiful rainbow moonstone, this is going to be your reading. So I am going to take a look at your card. We have the Jupiter return benefits number 49. This is sort of like the Chariot energy, but we have this in reverse. So I feel like I'm kind of going to read it upright to understand the meanings furthermore. Before I dive deeper into this, I am going to start with your intuitive drawing. I'm going to see what do we get over here. I'm immediately being drawn to the color green. I'm just gonna clean the table. I feel like your crown chakra is already pretty activated. You are one of those mediums or psychics that are probably tarot readers. You yourself do readings for yourself, you set intentions, you're into moon magic, you're very witchy. And I don't mean it witchy in the sense that you're majorly involved in spells or something. You could be, but I feel like there's a very ancient Toltec wisdom coming through for you over here. I do remember that when I was drawing these leaves, the blue color really took over it, and the purple color also overpowered it. I feel like you do operate a lot from your higher chakras, which is really good. It shows a lot of healing. And I feel like these stars are not visible, but I would like to tell you that in the picture, these are stars, the red ones, because of the density of the chalk. I think that, it doesn't really help us understand. So I feel like something about you is like a rising star as of now. You're really healing through a lot, and I feel like one of the things that really stuck by me is this eye that I made. It is giving me very third eye vibe. So um I would say majorly, we are going to discuss more about what's yet to come through in your reading, but I feel like you're doing really good so far. I feel like with the heart chakra, with the green over here, the leaves and everything, they're wanting to grow. Your heart is flourishing, and I think that you are really listening to the guidance that you're receiving as of now. I think that you are listening to what your soul is telling you to do, especially with, you can see how the um purple, the crown chakra, with the yellow solar plexus and the yellow over here, these are two connecting dots. It's like a belief is building within you that, yeah, I know what I'm doing and I'm being guided. And your throat chakra is pretty active. You're quite opinionative, and I think it doesn't mean that you always have to be yapping around or something. You could be, okay? Don't take offense on that, but it's just a way to say that you have a lot of wisdom inside that you don't always reveal. I think one of your survival instincts is almost like, I think that pile number two, because of the things that you've been through, you never really stay um relaxed. I think that there's a lot that you've been through, and it's almost like with the teardrops that I really made, I really felt something inside from my heart chakra which said purging. You've been purging a lot, you have been doing that on and off, and you just have a good grasp on how these things work now. You know how to move forward in life. You know when something comes up, I have to release it. I don't have to attach myself to it. Even if you're still learning these concepts, there's an understanding that I just really want to be myself. But a part of you, um, with the Jupiter return benefits, I think that there's an imbalance between the masculine and feminine energy, because you tend to go too much into your femininity. I think that you tend to hide too much sometimes. You try to hide your own opinions. And I think that this is in contrast with the toxic masculinity within you that pretends itself to be too defensive out there. Okay, that is not at all to disregard the progress that you've been making through over here. See that over here, that you are somebody who has something on a different spectrum, where you know how to do the inner work, but you just don't know how to put it in application as of now when it comes to receiving love from other people. Because there's a lot of self-sustenance, there's a lot of like, I'll do everything by myself, and there's a lot of chaos. There's a huge difference between how pile number one's intuitive drawing turned out to be and how yours is. There's a lot of I would say there's a lot of boundless free flowing energy. You just do whatever you feel like doing, but when it comes to receiving, it's like, I think that you scare people away, because with the throat chakra, it overpowered it over here. And the crown chakra, I feel like spirit is wanting to let you know, if you're considering or you're sort of contemplating or questioning, why is she talking about the lower chakras when we're talking about my psychic gifts? Because you have to understand that they enhance more when you work on your heart chakra, your root chakra, and comparatively the amount of root chakra that we have over here is really less. So I feel like the inner stability, even though you're believing your spiritual insights, I think that in a um in the physical realm, on the masculine sphere, in a way, your masculine energy is a little bit suppressed inside, because the true divine masculine energy wants to come out, but it's being suppressed by this toxic masculinity, which is like, no, I'll just do it by myself, and what's not actually helping you reap the benefits of your reward. um I said benefits of the reward. I think that you realize that you've reached a milestone in life. You know that you're there, but you're not seeing the benefits of it. You're not able to really, actualize them into reality and just enjoy that, is what I'm feeling. So the healing work, you're doing it, but you're just not able to actually make it something that's tangible in a way. You get my point? Like, sometimes you go too much in your fields, and I don't want you to take this as a initiation to stop doing that. Okay, you just have to learn how to balance this energy. Don't ever stop feeling things just the way you do. You're not too emotional, you're not too sensitive, you're just the right balance. You just need to know how to master your masculine energy as of now, because I think that you've been hermit for a really long time in your life. You've been through spiritual awakenings or awakening. You've been through dark night of the soul as well, and I think that not only has this helped you declutter a lot of these emotions, I think that right now it's time to master the masculine energy, which brings you, I'm hearing money, cha-ching. So like, it's almost like the work that you have done. Now it's time for your ancestors to sort of reward you, is what I'm hearing. They want to come through and sort of deliver you with prosperity, is what I'm hearing, with the blues that I have all over here and the purples. I feel like there's an energy of you operating too much out of a spiritual energy, because you tend to remain in your femininity, right? And maybe this is creating an imbalance because you're not doing much work, or even if you are doing work, it's not really manifesting the way you want it. It's because the intention is not right. And even if this relates to a romantic relationship, I feel like I feel pretty trans right now. I feel like spirit is really taken over, and whenever that happens, it happens when I don't know what I'm saying and what it's making sense of. So when I edit, that's when I realize that, oh, this is what they said. So I feel like you do things what your guides tell you to do, and you're really good at that. But the physical manifestations is a part of mastering that. Not exactly your guides will always tell you what to do, because that is an aspect of taking risks, right? So you have to learn how to really flourish within, because the root chakra over here with the throat chakra with the blue sort of I'm getting dandelion, so you really might like flowers or something, or you should um bring more flowers for yourself, get more flowers for yourself. But I feel like, because we have leafy gestures as well over here, um but I see that over here with this sort of flower depiction, I see that you need to start putting these thoughts and process into motion. You need to start doing these things more, because I see a lack of the root chakra, inner stability. And right now I did not exactly sort of like shuffle the deck from pile number one exactly. Like, I just did it gave it a random shuffle, and the cards that have come over here are Emperor and the Seven of Wands with the Knight of Cups. There's an energy of you acting too stoic out there, and this is the toxic masculinity trait. It's not exactly you. Interestingly, we have the Empress over here as well. This could talk about a romantic relationship in itself, where you're feeling like, I can't let this person know exactly how I feel, because they're just going to take advantage of my gooey nature. And I feel like, even though that is possible, I feel like these defenses are not serving you in this connection or just with other people, because you're trying to come off as somebody that you're not. Pile number two, you want to live freely, you want to breathe. And I feel like this is the energy that I picked up in the beginning, that you have to also balance out the root chakra, which makes you really defensive. Because what good are spiritual insights if you can't use it in application, right? You can't apply them to real life. So I think that what is really coming through is that you need to let down these guards. You need to work on. I feel like, because you've been so fragile, you've been doing really heavy healing. It's like it's made you really on alert. Like, I am not going to let anybody put me back in that space. Like, there's a threatening energy. Like, you really scare people. If you come close to me, I'll do this to you. And I think that you need to take these messages with a grain of salt. It not might be the exact energy, but sometimes when you're purging, you just go to a phase where you're like, oh my god, I really hate my life, like I hate it, it's so difficult, why do I feel so much, why can't I meet somebody that matches my level of sensitivity. Somebody is there who wants to match your sensitivity, but they just feel an emotional barrier between the both of you, where they're like, knock knock, can I come in? And you're just like, no, I've been so hot, I don't want to let you in. Even though you don't say that, your energy speaks that. And especially if this is a divine counterpart, because I did see the Emperor and the Empress, I feel like this person just knows when you're defensive. We have Aries and Taurus energy over here, but I feel like this person just knows when you're being like that. They get energetically repelled by you because you're putting up defenses where this person can't really give to you. As a female receptive energy, you can't receive from this person. So when you ask why they're not giving me or doing things for me, is because your energy doesn't express that. Your words might, but you're not even opening the door for this person to let in and do things for you. And that is important because your crown chakra is sort of like, I think it's overstimulated, or with the amount of, see, I want to show you this. With the amount of purples and the blues that we have, it's a lot about the throat chakra. You sort of say a lot of things that you don't exactly mean, or you're really scared because it's genuinely coming from place of heart and scarcity and pain, right? And you want to threaten people and make them, you're just protecting yourself, basic thing. But you can see how less the green is and the red is. It's because even though it's not like I'm saying your heart is completely shut down, because we have the Empress over here, you are somebody that understands the flow of life, but the root chakra is not over here, and the Empress is not a masculine, a healthy masculine energy. So what it is doing is it's acting like, yeah, I can't even grab it. It's acting like a controlling freak in a way. Don't take offense over it, but you do tend to control a lot of your romantic affairs. You don't want to let them in, and it's because we have this card in reverse. This is the Chariot in reverse. You know, the basic meaning of Chariot in reverse is unbalanced masculine and feminine energies. So even though the crown chakra is delivering, you're not able to make use of that information because the root chakra is not balanced. You're still feeling like you have to really defend yourself against all people. And I do not know your personal story. This person might or might not have done something to hurt you, but there's something that you're having to learn when it comes to reciprocity, and especially receiving love. Pile number 2, you have to learn how to receive love. We have inner peace in reverse. I do take cards as I'm guided to. I've put that in disclaimer. Upright or reverse. Spiritual maturity in reverse. Bottom of the deck, I'm seeing life purpose. You can see how she is imitating this heart. Her heart is imitating a lot of light, which is exactly the Empress energy over here. And the 2 doves. Doves and swans are totems for divine feminine. Doves and swans are totems for soulmates and twin flames, whatever you resonate with. So I'm seeing over here with the sacred woman. Oh wow, this was in reverse in pile number 1. You might have a message in pile number 1 as well, because I didn't get that message in pile number 1, but you are getting that for yourself. So I see that over here that you do respect yourself, okay? But sometimes that respect is sort of detrimental to you. For both the readings, I'm facing so much difficulty in just really speaking as it is. I'm getting really tongue-tied. So I think that one of the things that really resembles from pile number 1 to 2 over here is that you tend to sort of be like, you don't know how to say exactly what you feel, and even though you're trying, I feel like you're trying to do that, it's because you still have to unlock this part of yourself which feels like, I know I have to be very firm and I cannot let them cross me because I've been really hurt. I think this comes from a place of having loose boundaries, pile number two. And you face difficulty in forgiving yourself because you feel guilty for putting yourself through things which you didn't have a better discernment towards. And this inner peace is the reason why you don't have a lot of stability within, because you're still sort of like relying on other people to take care of you. And you get too succumbed when somebody starts doing that, so now you've completely put a stop to it because you're like, I just don't want to receive it anymore, because I just feel like I'm gonna be succumbed to you, or you're gonna have some power over me. It's almost like sometimes people don't want to receive love because it comes with the connotation of owing them something, right? If somebody's like, probably in your childhood when you used to do things, it always came with the fact that I'll do this for you, you do this for me. It's almost like if somebody would do something for you, your parents would do something, it's like, now you do something for me. So sometimes you don't want to receive the favor because you feel like you would be owing them something. That could also be a message for someone. Not everything would resonate, take whatever fits with you. But somebody over here feels like when you start receiving love, you feel like you're owing something to them, and you don't want to owe because it comes with a condition, right? You do this for me, then I'll also have to do something for you. So I think that you are pretty clear in things, but sometimes I feel like by number two, you also go through warfare. It could be possible over here that you face a lot of entrapment, because something about this is not being revealed to me as of now as well. I'm going to clarify that. I am seeing the Knight of Pentacles for some reason. So I think it's a lot about self-development, character development. We have a flipper. I'm going to take this in reverse. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Comfort zone. I'm seeing this star. So we're taking this in reverse. Six of Wands. And we have the Ace of Cups. It's pretty good. We have the Hermit, Virgo, and Four of Wands. Okay. I'm picking up on Aries, Sagittarius, not Leo, but could be. With the Queen of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Ace of Cups, again, Wands energy. You have become somewhere okay with being alone, because there's a loneliness within you that is not exactly a place of where you don't enjoy your own company, but it's like, I don't want to let you in, because what if you leave, then I'll again have that vacancy. So it's a dichotomy between wanting someone but not being able to handle the abandonment as well. So this comes from a place of abandonment where you control too much because you're scared to receive, because what if I become accustomed to that love and then you just take it away from me, right? So you could be someone that is quite possessive and jealous as well. You have this tendency within you, and it's just because you feel like maybe you'll find somebody else better than me. You'll find somebody else that's better than me. You'll find somebody that can be easier to love, is what I'm hearing. That might not be exactly true what you feel about yourself, but there could be a psyche within you which wants to be like, there might be somebody that's easier than me to love for you. So you have to really think about, where is this coming from? Is it a childhood wound where your parents had favoritism between your siblings and you? Maybe your parents took away your love. Maybe you were the elder child where, attention really started decreasing over time. Do you feel like you didn't get enough time from your parents? Do you feel like getting that love is too risky now, because what if I get accustomed and you just take it away from me? So this inner peace is not coming from a place where you were not nurtured properly. It doesn't have to be always like siblings. It can just be that maybe you were close to a few friends and then they just bailed on you, or they turned their back against you. It can be n number of things, but you have to see where you felt like you were stable and then somebody suddenly just took out the rug under your foot and you just went like, ouch, like I thought that this was the real thing. So it could also be a past relationship that didn't end pretty well. But I feel like pile number two, it's really important for you to realize that this is not exactly you. This is just a shadow aspect that is hindering your ability to access and become more stronger within you. Okay, it is all binded. This reading is really binded within a deeper consciousness, which subconsciousness, which tells you that I don't want to take that risk, especially in a relationship. I don't want to do it. It's not worth the pain I'll have to go through. So I think that what I'm actually seeing over here is somebody that's scared to invest their time into things, scared to invest themselves. Basically, it just keeps coming around the same fact that I'm scared to get my heart broken, because what if you just take that love away? And this is the reason why you're not able to receive, even though your crown chakra is pretty, working, it's there, it's giving you a lot of insights. I think that it really takes away from the fact that you're not able to apply those concepts, right? So this is chakra balancing. Your crown chakra gives you information, but the lower chakras also need to be activated so that you can actually put that information into use. Your soul is just not there for you to just absorb that information. It is of course there to absorb, but also to absorb and put it in practicality, right? So I'm going to pull out a few more cards. Because there's something that you try to hide. You try to hide that you feel unlovable at times. You feel like you're too difficult to love. I'm taking this sexuality in reverse and rainbow. Okay, not this. We have life purpose now in reverse, and we have resolving conflict. So this could stem from a very tumultuous relationship between your parental figures. Bottom of the deck, we have chivalry. So somebody who's not exactly as tumultuous, or somebody who doesn't like too much conflict. And this person hides their feelings because, they have their own issues, but we're going to focus on you. Sexuality in reverse, sometimes you feel like you're not attractive enough, and it could be somewhere where you feel insecure considered to this in comparison with this person, or just people around this person. Sometimes you just feel like it's not meant to be, I'm not gonna try. It's all self-fulfilling, it's like you're just trying to convince yourself that you're worth any lesser just because you've been made felt like that. There's a self-critical voice that comes in your head, which is like, I am unlovable, I just don't deserve so much, and yada yada yada. Why am I so difficult for you to love me? I think that these are projections from your childhood, where this could have been a parental figure which was very critical, which made you feel like you're unlovable. I feel like pile number two, the difference between you and pile number one is that you were affirmated in a way that this person doesn't love you, or this father figure doesn't love you, or this mother figure doesn't love you. It could also be a grandfather, is what I'm feeling. But somebody really made you feel like you're unlovable. Somebody made you feel like you're very difficult to love just because you were being emotional about things. This person used to laugh on things. This person used to mock you. This could also be a past relationship. But somewhere this person just made you feel like you're doing something wrong with the life purpose in reverse by being yourself. And I think that now there's a part of you which doesn't want to offer themselves, because you feel like people are going to take you for granted. People are not going to like who you are inside. People are not going to like this empress who is so freely loving and giving. You don't want to resolve this conflict either. This resolving conflict, this has words written as love, empathy, compassion, and understanding. You feel like you won't be understood by this person, but from spirit I'm hearing that this person understands you deeper than you realize. This person sees your pain. This person sees this emperor energy that you put out, but this person has had a sneak peek to your empress as well. Maybe you've shown them these parts of yourselves which are really loving, and this person wants to maybe resolve a conflict with you. This could be a soulmate. But something about this energy is where you're like, I just don't want to show them how much I feel about them, because I think they're just going to take advantage, or they're going to mock me for my sensitivity. They're not going to like the vulnerability that I can really show them. So I think that you can lead with example. Pile number two, you can teach this person also a thing or two about being authentic, because that is a gift in itself, your ability to really say how it is without putting a mask. And I think that sometimes when you try to put a mask and you say something that you don't mean, is because you don't feel safe enough to say what you want to say. And that could be a dynamic between the both of you, but I feel like you're still encouraged to say how it is from a heart-centered place. How much it hurt you is what you should be able to say. We have the judgment in reverse, Libra. We have the Five of Swords upright reverse. Upright. And we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. King of Cups bottom of the deck with the Magician. So you are, even if you don't realize, you fantasize a lot about this person. You kind of like, you're manifesting this person, whether you realize this or not, or it could also be this person. Spirit is saying this person is okay, the both of you are manifesting each other. But I think that one of the things that you really suffer with is comparison. You compare yourself with other people around this person. You feel like somewhere along the lines this gooey person is not what this person wants, but you have to realize that you have to be yourself. Don't abandon yourself for anyone, because this is a general reading, so the messages are pretty complex over here, so take whatever resonates. But if this person is not appreciating you for who you are, you don't have to stick around. But on the other hand, if you haven't even given this person a chance to see who you are, because these messages are in culmination, so you have to see how it fits with your own specific journey. Not everything exactly might resonate, but you have to see what spirit is trying to tell you. Because with the Five of Swords, I was saying Four of Swords, so you're still healing, you're contemplating, but there's an energy of indecision within you, where do you really want to go ahead with this person, because something about this feels like it's not meant to be. And whereas that's not for you to decide, it's for you to decide what's the right choice for you in the moment. Because I think that you project onto this person whether you feel like this person doesn't respect you enough, but there's something in you that is constantly replaying from the past where you felt like you weren't respected enough, honestly. Yeah. So I am going to pull out one advice card for you. We have maturity and yin and yang in reverse. No surprise. We have compatibility. I saw this slipping out before as well. The garden. So I think that you make believe yourself that we're not compatible. This person doesn't get my sensitivity. But you have to understand that this person's love language is different, actually. It's not that you're not compatible on a soulful level or on a emotional mental level. I think that you do resonate, but you try to make believe yourself. And apart from this relationship fiasco, I think what the advice says is that focus on what you know and implement that into reality to balance out your masculine energy. Because when you go into this emperor controlling energy, you push away anyone that wants to love you, and that is the core wound. So not being able to be vulnerable, thinking that this person doesn't love you, you're not good enough for them, you're too emotional, this person doesn't want to get close to you, is all your projection. This person has their own issues, but they're doing the same thing that you need to be triggered. Is the easiest way I will tell you. Whether you like this or not, you have to understand that this person will behave the same way. They need to trigger you. They might not even realize that they're doing this. They might be cognitively sort of like recognizing their patterns, but they don't know how much they're triggering you, and you are triggering them back as well. So this emperor and empress energy is not just about you both, it's about the internal energies within you both. And you have to understand that this person is a perfect mirror of you. With the yin and yang energy, it's almost like you're just not allowing yourself to feel love. You self-reject love because you have issues of worthiness inside, pile number 2. So I think I'm just going to conclude it on the fact that you have the wisdom within. I began off in the beginning that your psychic gifts are very online, so you have to understand how this resonates, because a general reading cannot tell you how to proceed. You have to learn to trust yourself. And I think you're already doing that, but this is a new level of sort of adversity is what I'm hearing. So you have to learn how to cooperate these insights that you're getting. All right, so pile number 2, this was pretty much it. I'm gonna leave it here. I really do hope that you found a message that was helpful. If you did, please do hit the like button, subscribe for more, hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload next. Let me know down in the comment section how they resonated, and I'm gonna see you guys in another one. Bye.